top of the hour, and now we're looking at some new numbers that are coming in. It's starting to fall more and more into shape. And I'll say this: we got our team here tonight. Our team, which is not something that I usually have. It's normally just Oz and myself. Tonight it's again Bubbles, Pedals, who's taking pictures over here. I've got a face for radio though. Pedals, and then my son's in here as well. So actually able to, if you want to ask questions on social media, Bubbles is laughing. But if you want to ask questions on social media, we can take some of those. We did get a question. What happens if Trump wins Virginia? What happens if Trump wins Virginia? Who's got the numbers for Virginia in here right now? Bubbles has the numbers.
He is 54% reporting.
Okay. 54% reporting, and he's ahead 6%. 6%. 8%, he's saying. So, and Trump is up in Pennsylvania, which again is still early in Pennsylvania. But what happens if Trump does win Virginia? First of all, I will tell you that would surprise me. That would be, I don't want to say shocking, because again, we're looking at such a small margin of error in these states. There's a lot of close races. But when you factor in that the northern part of Virginia, you got to figure every day that our government grows, it attracts more people to that part of the country to build houses, to move in, which whatever. I have got no problem with any of this, except for the fact that what's making that growth possible is that they are strapping the American taxpayer with more and more burdens and obligations. And so D.C. is growing kind of out of control, honestly. I was there. I went to school for a semester program at American University, which is in the northwestern part of D.C. And I remember when I was there it's been over 20 years now, but I remember when I was there, it's that city it truly is a bubble. I mean, it really is. There's no basis in reality. It's just people inside of that city that really think that they know best for everyone else outside of that city. And so anyhow, DC, it looked as though when I was looking here before the top of the or during the top of the hour break, it looked as though DC, Virginia, the precincts that were reporting, the most precincts that, those that were almost completely reported, were those precincts in those northern counties. And so if this holds on to be true, if this turns out to be the case, and Trump wins Virginia, folks, this is a major game changer. This would negate any possibility of, if Biden was to win, say, Arizona, Virginia has 13 electoral votes, right? Is that what it has, guys? Did Virginia have 13 electoral votes? So Arizona has 11. Virginia has 13. And so Trump would actually net 2 in that scenario. Not that he wants to give up Arizona, but if he wins Virginia, that is a major game changer. And it's one, some folks, all these things are probabilities, right? I mean, there's always a chance, there's even technically a chance for Trump to win California. Now, it's near zero, but when you look at states like Virginia, it was a red state not that long ago. But again, thanks to the growth of the D.C. metro area, thanks to the growth in the metro D.C. area, you've got a lot of voters up there that are going to make that state turn blue or at least purple. So when you start looking at where some of these votes have yet to come in, it's shaping up very favorably to Trump. And I have to be honest, I think there were the states that I thought Trump could win and the states that would be surprising. And I definitely would have considered Virginia in that latter group. This, in my mind, was not really a feasible scenario. So if he wins Virginia, that's truly a game changer. And again, if Biden picks up Arizona, it's it's practically a zero-sum game for him. So that's that will change things change things dramatically, especially as we begin to see these Rust Belt states come in. Now, the latest numbers for North Carolina. Bubbles, hold those up for me again, please. Bubbles is jotting down his numbers for North Carolina. Trump is currently, but first of all, these are not horse races. The numbers have been in. The ballots had been cast, and it's just who's reporting the numbers first. So it's not like Trump takes the lead or whatever, but now as we're getting more of these ballots in, it looks as though Trump is almost, what is he? That's over a half a point. What's that translate into votes? Do you know if it's a couple hundred, or is it a couple 10,000, or?
About 30,000.
So he's up about 30,000 votes now in North Carolina. Again, at the beginning of the night, you would have heard me say, or if you listen to my program during the week, which again is on 5 to 7, Monday through Friday, here on Freedom 95, if you would tune in, which you're well advised to do that, well advised. In fact, there's one person that gets paid to listen to, one person that gets paid to listen to the program, and I'm looking at her right now. The only one. Pedals. Which I should tell you how she got her nickname, but I won't do that right now. But Pedals is the only person that's paid to listen to the program. But anyway, we talked about this on the program that, again, and I mentioned it earlier tonight, North Carolina, Florida, and Arizona. If Trump holds those seats, he only has to win one of the Rust Belt states, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania. He's leading currently in Pennsylvania. In fact, he's up 5 percentage points right now in Pennsylvania. Again, early, about a quarter of the vote is being tallied. And, of course, you've got the whole mail-in vote debacle, which is waiting to happen. So we've got a long, long ways to go in Pennsylvania. Trump seems very, very interested. What is that? I'm getting it. Who's got a 12%? Okay. So he also, I've just been informed that Trump's up 12 in Georgia. So they must not have counted a lot of the Atlanta area is my guess. But anyway, Pennsylvania is a state that I think Trump feels incredibly confident about. Trump did a fantastic job campaigning in these final days. In fact, you see the number of places Trump went and the places that he went, in particular, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Iowa, Minnesota, Wisconsin, and that's what this election is going to come down to. Florida as well. However, Florida is going to turn out to be a state that Trump wins. I don't want to say comfortably, but it looks like a couple of percentage points. So, again, North Carolina, Trump appears to be in good position there. Virginia, I'm not really sure what's going on there, but it looks as though Trump might be able to somehow squeak this thing out, especially when you're looking at the counties that have reported. I just don't know, again, enough about the geography of Virginia, but that's an interesting scenario. Fox still has it blue. They've not pulled it off the map, but it is worth noting. It is worth noting that it could potentially turn 200,000 votes. 200,000 vote lead in Virginia. We're going to have to look more into that. See which precincts are not reporting yet. So Virginia, that would be a shocking game changer. And North Carolina shaping up right now for Trump. Florida shaping up for Trump. Pennsylvania looking very good for Trump. I don't know what the betting odds are for what those are right now, but they flipped in Trump's favor here recently as well. So, lots of again, folks, when I sat here 4 years ago, and you can go through this as well, and this we've got a long ways to go, but when I sat here 4 years ago, it was very similar to this. You could feel the momentum, you could see the numbers start coming in, you could see things begin to fall in Trump's favor, and that is kind of what's happening again this year as well. So again, a long ways to go, but I feel very good about this. I feel very good about Trump's chances. I don't like what we're hearing about the House. We'll see where the Senate ends up. I think Trump can be really helpful in pulling some of these senators across the finish line, especially, say, in the state of Michigan. That's an important Senate race. And there's others as well, but I'm going to take a timeout. Take a timeout here. come back and, again, continue our discussion, updating you on where things stand in the 2020 election. Again, I think it's shaping up well for Trump, but we've got a long ways to go. So we'll talk about this again on the other side of the break. You're listening here to the home of conservative, not bitter talk, special election night coverage here. Freedom 95 Studios, back in just a minute.
Did you know that there are 21,000 chimney fires annually? It's one of the reasons why it's so important to have a CSIA certified chimney technician clean and inspect your chimney every year. Keep your family safe by joining our 3-year sweep and inspection plan. And mention Todd to be entered to win $1,000 in cash. Contact Smalling Masonry, a Christian-owned business, at 317-903-8121 to learn more today.
Need to refresh or renovate your commercial space? Call Interior Construction Services today. Providing the highest level of quality construction at a competitive price, our service-minded team is here to deliver the detail-oriented environment you're looking to create on time and on budget. Call us at 317-991-4660 or visit us online at interiorconstruct.com. Interior Construction Services. Progressive, productive, professional.
All right, here we go. $100 down, $200 down, $200 back at $300.
I went to my first firearms auction a few years ago. It was hosted by TJ Freege, one of my good friends from high school, who is a champion auctioneer and one of the best in the business. In spite of objections from liberal legislators, I walked away with a .22 rifle and a few boxes of ammunition. And I had a great afternoon with my grandpa that I won't soon forget. If you've ever wondered what treasure you could find in an auction, visit FreegieAuctioneers.com and take a look at their upcoming Central Indiana auction schedule. That's Freege, F-R-E-I-J-E, auctioneers.com. Visit FreegieAuctioneers.com.
Hi, I'm TJ Freege, owner and lead auctioneer at Freege & Freege Auctions and Marketing. I invite you to come see the power of live auctions. It's fast, it's fun, it's transparent, and it's the absolute best way to ensure you get fair market value for your asset today. Get results. Go auction.
Outside of the federal government, no one likes losing money. Any amount of money. Not just the $6 billion the State Department lost. And what makes losing money worse is knowing that we could have done something to stop it. Well, if you have an inefficient furnace, a toilet that won't stop running, or a leaky faucet, you can do something about it. You can call the good folks at Economy Heating, Air Conditioning, and Plumbing. Call 317-831-5279. Or visit economyheatingandair.com.
It's deer season. Whether you are an experienced hunter or just looking to start, the Outdoorsman Sports Shop in Greenwood has the deer gear you need. With an indoor archery range, huge product selection, and a friendly staff ready to answer all your questions. We can help you through bow, gun, and muzzleloader season. Make the Outdoorsman in Greenwood part of your deer camp this year. Find us online at outdoorsmansportshop.com. Happy hunting.
What if your bank treated you like a person instead of an account number? What if you could sit across from the person you are opening an account with or requesting a loan from and have an actual conversation? You may be thinking, Todd, that's crazy talk. Well, not at Citizens Bank. Come visit them in Monrovia and meet Nick Gibson, their new branch manager, and the rest of their staff. Or give them a call at 317-831-0110. Citizens Bank is an equal housing lender and member FDIC.
You wanted to see me?
Yes, please, have a seat. So here's the thing. When this company brought you on, we took a chance on you. You didn't have that 4-year college degree we typically look for.
Right.
But we gave you a shot anyway. And since then, you've worked incredibly hard and given it your all.
Thanks.
You've been an important asset to the team, but I don't think you can be an intern here anymore. We want to hire you.
You're serious?
Absolutely.
Find your next great employee. Introduce yourself to the grads of life. Who are they? Talent worth knowing about. Young adults of unique determination and experience. An ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or even mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
I won't let you down.
I know.
Don't miss out on a resource many innovative companies have already discovered. Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
Now more of Freedom 95's Election Night 2020 coverage.
Election Night coverage is brought to you by Gatekeeper Services in Plainfield.
Now, here's your host, Todd Huff.
All right, welcome back. So, trying to get a little bit of it's a little bit puzzling to me as to where, again, I'm not a geography major. You may have noticed that. Puddles. Not a geography major, but I don't know where these votes are going to be coming in from to make up the difference of 200,000. By the way, I want to mention off the top here, I should have done this earlier. I'd like to give a special thanks to all of our advertising sponsors. But I want to mention 4 in particular: Gatekeeper Services, Economy, Heating, Air Conditioning, and Plumbing, Edwards Equipment, and Freegee Auctions and Marketing. In fact, I'm rocking this hat, Bubbles, this Freegee. I'm rocking it. Don't tell me I'm not. That's a pretty incredible performance I got going on here. But I want to thank folks that make this show possible. But I want to talk here again about Virginia, because this again is a little bit of a surprise. I don't want to say it's not like a California or New York surprise, but it is surprising. It appears that I just don't know where the votes are going to come from, because we looked at there's a couple counties that are not reporting. There's a couple counties that are not reporting in Virginia, but Bubbles just told me that those counties are total populations of both the counties is like 24,000. I don't know. Now, if Democrats run those counties, maybe they can get 200,000 votes out of 24,000 people. Or maybe there's a lot of cemeteries in that county or something. I don't know. But I don't see how the math is possible here. Maybe there's a bunch of mail-in ballots. Maybe that can explain some of this. I'm not entirely sure. But again, that's one of the benefits, or the, I guess, enjoyable things of doing this live on the fly. I wasn't prepared to talk about Virginia. I wasn't prepared to talk about that at all. Maybe as an outlier. In fact, I thought if we were talking about Virginia, I was probably going to be doing the Trump YMCA dance for the whole segment. I thought that by that point in time we would know. My son is doing that little jig over here. But I thought by then we would be celebrating. So this is a little bit of a surprise to me. There comes the music in the background. Thanks, Jeremy. I appreciate that. But the nature, and I think it's one of the things that makes following this so enjoyable. Trump connects with people in ways that, different ways with different groups of people. And so if turnout has increased as dramatically as we think it will be when all the chips are counted, so to speak, here, we may have things happen that we've not seen happen. And maybe one of those things is Virginia turning back red. So let's see. We've got other states in the mix as well. What's our count in Pennsylvania? You can look up Pennsylvania, Bubbles, here. But again, Florida is one that President Trump, I think, I'm waiting for them to call that for Trump as well. I still think Trump is going to win Georgia, although I don't have the current numbers for Georgia. And the predictions at Fox say that Georgia has a 78% chance of going for Biden. So we'll see. We'll see about that. Maybe I'm wrong about that. But again, we've got Michigan, Pennsylvania, Minnesota, Wisconsin. Those states are starting to come in as well. And halfway, well, a couple hours in here, I should say, Trump is leading the popular vote by about 1.7 million. 1.7 million. Can you imagine? Can you imagine what's going to happen if Trump wins the popular vote? If Trump wins the popular vote, the left, I can already hear the crying and the wailing and gnashing of teeth right now. If Trump wins the popular vote, and Trump is up, what is that, 20,000? So that's, Let's do the math on that. Trump's up 7 points right now in Pennsylvania based upon what we're seeing reported. But if Trump somehow pulls off the popular vote, folks, that is, you've heard some folks say that that was possible. But it's going to be shocking to see that, and then the result of that. Will they start to tell us, if Trump wins the popular vote, that suddenly he has the will of the American people behind him? Will that be the story? Will they still push for the National Popular Vote Compact? That silly nonsense to bypass the Electoral College. The Electoral College, by the way, is a great thing. States elect presidents. States elect presidents. It's like a 7-game series in the NBA Finals, right? It's not the team that scores the most points total over the 7 games. You have 7 games, and each of those games you compare the score. The team with the most points wins that game. And so it's possible to lose the series 4-3, and yet you outscore your opponent, but you lose the series. And that's how the Electoral College works. But states matter. This was a nation founded upon an agreement of states, and that's a good thing. But will they tell us if Trump wins the popular vote here, which he's leading right now, which, again, we still haven't seen California's numbers come in, or the numbers of ballots that they might find stuffed in trash cans and people's trunks of their cars and, abandoned warehouses and that sort of thing over the days to come if this thing is close. But if Trump wins the popular vote, are we going to hear about how democracy has won in 2020? I can guarantee you we will not. I'm sure Trump will have stolen it yet again somehow, probably colluding with whatever nation is next on the list, whatever's after Russia. Maybe it's China, maybe it's Iran, maybe it's Ukraine, who knows, Russia. So, anyway, North Korea. Bubble says North Korea. That's, who knows? I don't put anything past the media. But I will say this, and I mentioned this earlier. I think if this is as bad, if the media and the pollsters get this as bad as I think that they've gotten it, if it turns out that Trump wins this thing and we have a second election where the guy that wins, which again is not a foregone conclusion, I'm not even predicting it, I do think that he's going to come out of this as the victorious, as the president, Trump is. That's my feeling here. But are they going to then, if that's the case, are they going to again tell us that democracy has won, that we've saved our democracy? Are they going to tell us that? Of course they're not. But these pollsters need to be held accountable. And I think if these things are as wrong as they appear to possibly have been, then we should never, ever, ever trust these jokers again. Ever. Polls are used more to impact public opinion than it is to report public opinion. And I think that's the dirty little secret. That's the cold, hard truth. And that's something that we're learning as we see these numbers come in. It appears at this particular point that people like Robert Cahaly, and we've got a long ways to go, but people like Robert Cahaly may actually be spot on accurate with their predictions and their projections. Spot on accurate. That's important. And again, they were criticized. Nate Silver was mocking them, making fun of their models and so forth, making fun of the questions that they would ask because they talked about a hidden, the silent, what is it, the shy Trump voter, I guess is what it is. People get ridiculed for that. Cahaly did, Trafalgar Group. So, but again, I don't think there will be any accountability because people forget about what the polls predicted, and they'll either be really excited that if it turns out that Trump wins, they'll be excited that Trump won. If they didn't like that Trump won, they'll request some more adult coloring books, some crayons, some service dogs. That's what they did in 2016. Pedals or Pause doesn't believe me. Look it up. We'll look it up. I talk about this on a regular. Not every voter, but I've seen them. What? Look up. First of all, they canceled classes in 2016. Second of all, there were students who, I knew a person whose roommate didn't leave her room for like a week and she cried because Hillary lost. They used adult coloring books to cope with Trump defeating Hillary. They requested service dogs. This is a true story. These are real things. It sounds made up because it's patently ridiculous, but this happened in 2016. You don't believe me? Pause doesn't believe me. I can see it in the look in your eye. But these things happened in 2016, and they'll happen again. And by the way, every year, either on Election Day or on Inauguration Day, I forget which day it is, they get together and they scream at the universe. Ah! They do. They scream at the universe because President Trump was inaugurated or elected on a certain day. These folks are going to lose their ever-loving minds. And by the way, that leads into a whole nother series of discussions about what happens in some of these cities. What happens in some of these cities with the riots, and Bubbles has found some of the articles. I mean, they're there for you to see. But this is where, some people have been convinced that the only way Trump can win is if he steals the election. And so you've got the crazies who are going to scream at the universe, ask for adult coloring books and crayons and adult Play-Doh, that sort of thing. You're going to have people that turn to violence as well. That's what 2016 has shown. From 2016 until now, what we've seen, and we can expect more of this. And I think pollsters, to the extent that they've not done their job well, you could say that they've done it intentionally poorly for a political purpose. If that's the case, then you could say that they're complicit in misleading people to believing that President Trump can only win if he steals the election. Now, we've got a long ways to go, but again, I still like how this is shaping up for President Trump, and I'm long in this segment. Gotta take a break. Come back and continue our discussion. Election night coverage here, special edition of the Todd Huff Show. Again, we're on Monday through Friday, 5 to 7 a.m. on this station. You can also catch our podcast. You can also listen on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, as long as those social media platforms allow us to keep them there. But anyway, it's a pleasure being here with you. Special election night coverage. Be back in just a minute.
Hi, this is Gordon Deal. Wednesday on This Morning, America's First News. Special edition coverage of Election 2020 continues. We'll recap results for President, Senate, House, and statewide races. Also, what do the election victories and losses mean for the financial markets, the overall economy, and your wallet? We'll explain. And why we can't just vote from our smartphones. You'll hear the reasons. Wednesday on This Morning, America's First News.
On Freedom 95.
This is Pastor Greg Dezula of Crown of Life Baptist Church. Jesus Christ was in the world, and the world was made by him, and the world knew him not. But as many as received him, to them gave he power to become the sons of God, even to them that believe on his name. The Apostle Paul adjured his listeners to know Christ and the power of his resurrection and the fellowship of his sufferings, and being made conformable unto his death. The power of the glorious gospel of Jesus Christ through the powerful medium of radio can eternally transform your life as it did mine. 30 years ago, I came to a saving knowledge of the Lord Jesus Christ via radio. Radio still holds a very special place in my heart to this day. Listen to Freedom 95 every Sunday morning starting at 7:30 a.m. and be miraculously transformed by the word of truth.
Hi, Jeff Brummett here, host of No More Dead Radio on Freedom 95. You know, debt can rob you of life, both in quality and breath of life itself, if you let it. But if you're ready to learn one of the fastest debt elimination, wealth accumulation processes ever invented, call 888-302-PLAN. You could be debt-free in 9 years or less, including the mortgage on your home, even if you just got it, and free of all consumer debt within 2 to 3 years. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Jeff, you're going to make me live out of the back of a station wagon and shower at the local truck stop. And I just can't do that. That's not our process. And you don't have to do that ever. In fact, all of this can be done without increasing your income, getting a second job, or spending a single penny more than you're spending right now each month. Our process has helped thousands of people just like you become completely debt-free. Call today, 888-302-PLAN, and we'll build your debt elimination analysis and plan free of charge. No books to buy, no classes to go through. Call 888-302-PLAN.
Loving and pampering your pet just got easier with Shepherd Boy Farms 100% all-natural pet treats. USA sourced and made right here in Indy. Even picky eaters or dogs with allergies will enjoy our single-ingredient 100% meat treats. Our farm-to-pet fresh treats are born from a freeze-dried process, locking in as much flavor and nutrition as possible. Plus, they can provide a shinier coat, cleaner teeth, and a boost in energy. When you enter the coupon code FREEDOM95, you'll receive an additional free bag of treats. Order your pet treats today at shepherdboyfarms.com.
Interesting times, Cindy. It's good to know Rhino Shield's helping folks end their painting worries like they did with Edwina.
I just got to the point where I couldn't spend any more money on the outside of the house. And when I saw Rhino Shield, I thought that was the answer to my problem.
Our crews always follow Indiana guidelines on social distancing. We work outside while you're safe inside.
I'd had painters here before, and it was usually quite a disaster. But Rhino Shield was right on it.
Right now is the perfect time to get 20% off the 25-year guaranteed protection of Rhino Shield.
The gentleman said, if you're interested, give me a call. And I said, honestly, can you come tomorrow?
Call today for a free virtual presentation and ask for our showcase homes near you where you can see our finished product firsthand from the safety of your car. Here's Rhino Shield's Shane Smith.
Call me at 888-RHINO-41. That's 888-RHINO-41.
Don't paint, don't Rhino. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Owning your own business or managing new sales for your company is a challenging task in today's America. Talk radio shows are known to be among the best ways to promote your business name and your services to a loyal and educated listening audience that has a good deal. You want to grow your business? You want to promote your products and your services? Then start your ad campaign on 950 AM and 95.9 FM. You'll get more info at 317-736-4040. 317-736-4040.
Need to refresh or renovate your commercial space? Call Interior Construction Services today, providing the highest level of quality construction at a competitive price. Our service-minded team is here to deliver the detail-oriented environment you're looking to create, on time and on budget. Call us at 317-991-4660 or visit us online at interiorconstruct.com. Interior Construction Services. Progressive, productive, professional.
It's deer season. Whether you are an experienced hunter or just looking to start, the Outdoorsman Sports Shop in Greenwood has the deer gear you need. With an indoor archery range, huge product selection, and a friendly staff ready to answer all your questions. We can help you through bow, gun, and muzzleloader season. Make the Outdoorsman in Greenwood part of your deer camp this year. Find us online at outdoorsmansportshop.com. Happy hunting.
Now more of Freedom 95's Election Night 2020 coverage.
Election Night coverage is brought to you by Gatekeeper Services in Plainfield.
Now, here's your host, Todd Huff.
Welcome back. We've got some other states that are now being called a little bit further out west. As predicted, much of the middle of the country is turning out to be red. We have the states of North Dakota, South Dakota, which we may have called earlier, Wyoming, Utah, Kansas, Oklahoma. We're starting to see numbers from Iowa as well, but that's still early, and still waiting on Florida. As well. I'm really not sure why, because Trump is now up. Pull that back over there, Florida. What's that say? I can't see that. 91% in, and what's 400,000 votes? Is that what we're looking at? I can't see that. Roughly 350, 400,000 votes, with 91% reporting in Florida. So that's good. North Carolina, Trump is now up over a point with 90. What does that say? Pause. 92% of the precincts reporting, and Trump is up roughly 60,000. Is that just 60,000 votes? 60,000 votes in Carolina as well. Pause is saying she's bad at math. So, so anyway, but if you look again, we're looking at here the map on Fox News, and there's a lot of states that are shaded red, pink, I guess, that are looking favorable for Trump, but again, are too close to call. That would include still Florida. Again, I don't understand. Georgia, they're still showing as red, but I saw the thing on Fox that said that they're predicting Georgia goes to Biden, which like the Virginia situation, would surprise me if that turns out to be the case. Anyway, but Wisconsin, Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Florida, of course, Texas as well, which I think will stay red. I did see that the leader of the GOP Republican Party in the state of New Mexico came out over the weekend. New Mexico, which is reliably a blue state. Now, it's only 5 electoral votes, but nonetheless, it matters. All the states matter, especially when something is as close as this election is shaping up to be in a lot of these very highly contested states. But the state Republican chair in New Mexico said that New Mexico was going to go for President Donald Trump. We'll see. That would be, in my opinion, in the neighborhood of as surprising as Virginia for President Trump, if that's, of course, what happens as well. But again, the map is shaping up very well for President Donald J. Trump. I want to shift gears slightly here and talk about. So I mentioned last segment, or sometime here in the past 20 minutes, about the riots, the looting. Those are legitimate concerns if President Trump wins this election in certain cities. And that's, again, folks, look, I'm from a Union Democrat family. This is not all Democrats. I don't mean to say that, but they're the radical left. I'm talking about the unhinged radical left who has bought into the narrative that Trump is basically Adolf Hitler, that he's running concentration camps on the southern border, that he is plotting to destroy America, enrich his family, be a puppet of Putin, the things that you hear on MSNBC. Folks that buy into this, some folks are shocked by what we're seeing so far this evening because, again, they followed the mainstream narrative in the media and so forth. And they are going to react with cases, I think clearly violence. I think that in certain places we will see, you've already seen businesses boarded up. Businesses in New York City. Someone told me businesses even here in Indianapolis have boarded up. And I'll tell you, they're not boarding up because the Tea Party may come and throw a Molotov cocktail through the window or something. This is because the radical unhinged left is this is how they're going to respond to these things. So we've got that going on. That's a potential outcome of this if Trump does win. But on top of that, we've got the lawsuit situation. And so this is a scenario, and Pedals put together a graphic for us some time ago where we listed 4 states. I think the states were Michigan, North Carolina, Pennsylvania. Do you remember the fourth one in that graphic? No, it wasn't Maine, Pedals. Pedals, maybe you should stay in your lane. I should but it was, there was a 4th state, I'm drawing a blank. Oh, maybe it was Wisconsin. I think it was Wisconsin. So, and North Carolina too. So, Pedals is great. I'm just teasing with her. But so this, these states, what happens is there are clear laws. There are clear laws for running an election. And what happens is you have an election official make a change to the law because of COVID or some such thing. And they say, because of COVID, now you get extra time to do whatever. Cast your ballot, mail it in, whatever. And in some instances, say in the state of Michigan, a court had upheld that the state can collect ballots up to 2 weeks past Election Day. Now, this is a problem because it's pretty cut and dry. And if these things make their way to the Supreme Court, and people with sense actually now with Amy Coney Barrett, Clarence Thomas, Samuel Alito, Gorsuch, hopefully Kavanaugh, who knows what Justice Roberts will say. But if the court actually decides based upon what the law says, it is crystal clear that ballots have to be received on the days that these states say that they're supposed to be received, which is not the dates that we're seeing these courts extend. And so that's going to cause all sorts of problems. This is where you hear the left, the Democrat Party, and people from the Biden campaign, they'll say that the Republicans don't want to count every ballot. But the problem is they do. It's just that there are certain rules. There are certain rules for when you can take a ballot. I want to count every ballot that is received in the manner it's supposed to be received in. I don't want to count a ballot that is received after a deadline. Why should we do that? I've said before on the show, we are getting close to the point where some of these Democratic districts are basically a step away from arguing you should be able to drive around your downtown square in a small town and yell out the window which candidate you're voting for, and they can tally it up on the chalkboard as you go by. That's how close we're getting to stupid stuff. There are rules for elections for reasons. Anytime you have an opportunity to cast a ballot, there's an opportunity for fraud. I don't care if it's in-person balloting, mail-in balloting, whatever. People are trying to expose the system. If you open up a thrift store, if you open up a convenience store, and you don't think that anyone is going to try to steal from you, you are living in a fantasy world, because that is human nature. Somebody will try to do it. And likewise, we have to take precautions to protect the integrity of these elections. And anytime you allow for ballots to come in over a longer period of time after the votes have been counted, which we're counting tonight, it opens up all sorts of opportunities for more fraud to exist. This is pretty straightforward. I think this is something that all Americans should be able to agree upon. If a ballot doesn't meet the criteria for being counted, which if it includes deadlines or signatures or whatever the criteria is, then it should not be counted. If it does, then it obviously should be counted. It's pretty straightforward and simple. Problem is these judges intervene and change the rules as they go and as they prefer. So that's something else to keep an eye out for as we move into the days and weeks after this election. I just hope that Trump wins big enough this evening to maybe put this whole thing to bed and not have to have any concern whatsoever with lawsuits. So quick timeout is in order. We'll come back and wrap up this hour. You're listening to the home of conservative, not bitter talk. I'm your host, Todd Huff, here on election night, Freedom 95. Back in just a minute.
Did you know that there are 21,000 chimney fires annually? It's one of the reasons why it's so important to have a CSIA certified chimney technician clean and inspect your chimney every year. Keep your family safe by joining our 3-year sweep inspection plan. And mention Todd to be entered to win $1,000 in cash. Contact Smalling Masonry, a Christian-owned business, at 317-903-8121 to learn more today.
Need to refresh or renovate your commercial space? Call Interior Construction Services today, providing the highest level of quality construction at a competitive price. Our service-minded team is here to deliver the detail-oriented environment you're looking to create, on time and on budget. Call us at 317-991-4660 or visit us online at interiorconstruct.com. Interior Construction Services. Progressive, productive, professional.
All right, here we go. $100 down, $100 down, $200 down, back at $300.
I went to my first firearms auction a few years ago. It was hosted by TJ Freegee, one of my good friends from high school, who is a champion auctioneer and one of the best in the business. In spite of objections from liberal legislators, I walked away with a .22 rifle and a few boxes of ammunition. And I had a great afternoon with my grandpa that I won't soon forget. If you've ever wondered what treasure you could find in an auction, visit FreegieAuctioneers.com and take a look at their upcoming Central Indiana auction schedule. That's Freegie, F-R-E-I-J-E, auctioneers.com. Visit FreegieAuctioneers.com.
Hi, I'm TJ Freegee, owner and lead auctioneer at Freegee Auctions and Marketing. I invite you to come see the power of live auctions. It's fast, it's fun, it's transparent, and it's the absolute best way to ensure you get fair market value for your asset today. Get results, go auction.
Outside of the federal government, no one likes losing money. Any amount of money, not just the $6 billion the State Department lost. And what makes losing money worse is knowing that we could have done something to stop it. Well, if you have an inefficient furnace, a toilet that won't stop running, or a leaky faucet, you can do something about it. You can call the good folks at Economy Heating, Air Conditioning, and Plumbing. Call 317-831-5279 or visit economyheatingandair.com.
It's deer season. Whether you are an experienced hunter or just looking to start, the Outdoorsman Sports Shop in Greenwood has the deer gear you need. With an indoor archery range, huge product selection, and a friendly staff ready to answer all your questions. We can help you through bow, gun, and muzzleloader season. Make the Outdoorsman in Greenwood part of your deer camp this year. Find us online at outdoorsmansportshop.com. Happy hunting.
What if your bank treated you like a person instead of an account number? What if you could sit across from the person you are opening an account with or requesting a loan from and have an actual conversation? You may be thinking, Todd, that's crazy talk. Well, not at Citizens Bank. Come visit them in Monrovia and meet Nick Gibson, their new branch manager, and the rest of their staff. Or give them a call at 317-831-0110. Citizens Bank is an equal housing lender and member. I see.
When Dad needed help getting around, I became his driver. Any daughter would do the same. But soon enough, he needed help doing more things, and it was up to me to be his personal shopper and financial manager, too. And before I knew it, Dad moved in with me, so I became his cook, his personal assistant, his physical therapist, and even his nurse. When I started taking care of Dad, I didn't realize all the roles I'd have to play. But no matter what, I know I'm still his daughter.
We understand the many roles you play, and to help, we created an online caregiving resource center. At aarp.org/caregiving, you can find resources and connect with the caregiving community. Together, we can better care for ourselves and the ones we love. Visit aarp.org/caregiving to learn more. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Now more of Freedom 95's Election Night 2020 coverage.
Election Night coverage is brought to you by Freegee and Freegee Auctions and Marketing in Clayton.
Now, here's your host, Todd Huff.
All right, folks, welcome back to special election night coverage of the Todd Huff Show here in or at Freedom 95. We are still waiting on some key states to break here. A lot of these things are still up in the air. We're going to go ahead and extend one more hour. One more hour we can talk more about this. We knew that this would be a possibility. So there'll be more polls closing in the next 4 or 5 minutes, so we can begin to talk about some of those states as well, a little bit further out to the west. But we have, again, the map is shaping up well for President Trump. I still don't have answers on the Virginia question. I still don't. There's still questions about Georgia. I don't know why they haven't called Florida for Trump. And Pennsylvania shaping up well for Trump as well. Again, right now, this is, in a lot of ways, is a repeat of 2016. That is not a guarantee, but I do think that Trump right now is the odds-on favorite. I'm looking at the Ohio results here on Fox. Trump's up 8 points, 90% of the precincts reporting. That was not supposed to happen. They've not yet, I guess, called Ohio, but still, it is, all these things are shaping up for President Trump. And again, this is not supposed to happen. I want to take you back in time. 2016, we shared a little bit about that, how the left basically cried and screamed at the universe for a week, took some time off of school. Then they realized that it wasn't just a bad dream. Trump was going to be their president. So what did they do? They began to hatch a plan to impeach him. On his 11th day in office, folks, 11th day in office, there were already calls for Trump to be impeached. I think it was first from Julian Castro. Maybe it was, that's the name that jumps out at me. But anyway, 11th day. And of course, if it was the 11th day, it was really the first day. Truth be known, it was the 0th day. It was before the first day. And that was just the plan. And so that's what they've been doing ever since Election Day. And they had their wish come true in the sense that he was impeached in the House. But of course, he was found not guilty by the Senate. And so this is not supposed to be this way. This president is not supposed to be able to even be standing. He should have been taken out in handcuffs. He should have been placed in an orange jumpsuit, not to be confused with Hillary's orange pantsuit. He should have been removed from the White House, put into prison in the minds of these leftists, and now they're on the verge of watching a potential re-election of President Donald Trump. More to come next hour. See you at the top of the hour in a few minutes. You're listening here to the Todd Huff Show special election night coverage, Freedom 95. Sit